In the performance cars over $60,000 category this year, we've got a pair of BMWs, the M235i and the all-new M4, which reverts to turbocharged inline six-cylinder power for this year. We've also got the Maloo GTS, which has the full-fat 430 kilowatt supercharged V8, 6.2 litres. It's probably the fastest ute anyone's ever built. And of course, the reigning champ, the Cayman. Last year it was the Cayman S. This year it's the Cayman GTS. So while it kicked butt last year, this year it's carrying an even bigger stick. Looking at the spec sheet, you can start off wondering whether the Maloo GTS is an overhyped utility or a slightly cheaper HSV GTS with a longer boot. The reality is that it's a bit of both. The engine is the same supercharged monster as the 6.2 litre unit in the GTS sedan, and it's an absolute rocket on the drag strip. In fact, it was the quickest car of all the 40-odd Drive Car of the Year contenders for 2014. For all that though, it doesn't feel as fit as a big supercharged V8 perhaps should, and you need to give it a decent rev to really get it moving. We are of course talking by degrees here. The Maloo 2 doesn't have the GTS sedan's road manners. The steering feels slower and the ute really takes some work to get it to change direction. The brakes however are brilliant. But it's the day-to-day stuff that really lets the Maloo down. That huge sculpted tonneau cover makes the view to the rear almost non-existent and turns lane changing into a lottery. The styling isn't to everybody's tastes, and because of the sportier suspension, the payload has been slashed, meaning it's not actually much of a ute anymore. And if that's not enough, the official fuel consumption number is a horrifying 15.7 litres per 100 kilometres. Ouch. Maybe because it's so small, but the M235i BMW doesn't really look like $90,000 to most eyes. But don't panic, because it certainly drives like it is. In fact, it's brutally fast and can get from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in comfortably under 5 seconds, which is proper supercar stuff. The engine is a real delight with proper top-end surge from the turbocharged 6 and a great exhaust note to go with it. You might be put off a little to learn that the M235i has a conventional automatic gearbox instead of a trendy clutchless manual. But don't panic, because the 8-speed auto in the BMW is smooth and intelligent, and the car suffers not a bit for not having a DSG or manual gearbox. Meanwhile, it's not just the exterior appearance that falls short of 90 grand expectations. The interior is also a bit plain, with hard plastics on the dashboard and no rear camera or power seats, which rankles a bit at this price. Oh, and while we're at it, the car would definitely benefit from a limited slip differential to make the handling even sharper. Every time Porsche puts a GTS badge on a car, it magically hits some kind of sweet spot. The theory holds for the Cayenne GTS, the Panamera GTS, and now the Cayman GTS emerges as the Cayman to have. Interestingly, it could just also be the Porsche to have. As the 911 has grown bigger and heavier over the years, plenty of people are asking themselves if maybe all the Porsche they need is the Cayman. It's hard to argue too, and with acceleration like it has and one of the most balanced chassis in a road car from anywhere, the Cayman has a strong case to make. There's purity of design here too. The Cayman's trademark flat 6-cylinder is mounted right behind the seats, making the car a strict 2-seater, but ensuring that balance I was talking about. In the old days, okay, this time last year, this car would have been called an M3 Coupe. Now, in line with BMW's decision to name its 4 doors with an odd number and its 2 doors with even numbers, this has become the M4. But make no mistake, this is the car that replaces the M3, so it has mighty big boots to fill. The switch back to 6-cylinder power has been anticipated by the M3 purists out there. The reality is that while the engine certainly delivers in power and torque terms, it doesn't really match previous BMW 6s for smoothness. It's almost as if BMW has deliberately tried to give the car some character, but instead has simply made it sound and feel a bit, well, grumpy. And automatic rev matching on downshifts in a car designed for the driver? Please. We also found the ride quality was a bit brittle on short, sharp bumps, and despite the big tyres, there was always a fight going on between horsepower and grip. Performance and sports cars always elicit a very personal response, and let's face it, that's why we buy them in the first place. Interestingly, every judge plumped for this car, the Porsche Cayman GTS. Okay, we can do this one of two ways. I can spend the rest of the calendar year telling you all the things the judges loved about the Cayman GTS. Or we can do it the quick way and I can tell you what we didn't like. Plan B? Okay. There's nowhere to stash a mobile phone in the cabin, nowhere obvious anyway, and the cup holders are too far away, they're in the wrong place. Other than that, nothing really. This car is absolutely gorgeous to drive. It still amazes me that they can make something handle as well as this thing and still ride well too. The engine's gorgeous, the gearbox works beautifully. There's absolutely nothing to fault this car on. I mean, yes, it's expensive, but man, is it good. I mean, there's adequate, there's competent, there's brilliant, and then there's the Cayman GTS.